You're live.
That's pretty sweet music right there, my brother.
That's some great music. Are you kidding me? Great John Mitchell. Don't let it be said we don't play local music on this show.
And we are here on this Friday evening.
Friday.
And it's Friday the 13th.
With a
Friday
full
the 13th
moon.
with a full moon. Yes, that happens
Harvest
once
moon,
every
baby.
20 years.
And
I love it.
One time every 20 years.
I don't know it's a full moon unless we show our...
You always argue whether it's a full moon or not. The witches will be out tonight, so you better disagree.
Friday the 13th.
Bob Rand's here, so I know
And if
one
you're
of them's
thinking
out.
about going to a nightclub, don't. Because I promise you, weird stuff happens in nightclubs.
The
on full moon.
ERs.
It does.
The
Yeah,
ERs
you're
will
a
be-
nurse.
I'm a nurse.
Exactly.
I hated full moons. We knew it was a full moon because
When
the
I-
ERs were packed.
When I first got in the club business and started bartending,
OMG.
they floated
Yeah.
that and I said, that is the biggest bunch of BS I've ever.
No.
It's not. It's not. You will see fights. You will see weird
It's
stuff.
weird, isn't
Yes,
it? Why? We don't know. It's just weird. It all hits.
I always heard that it's the because the moon determines tides,
Right. And it is-
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And
and they can make they can determine ocean levels.
it's
the moon.
weird, yeah.
And that since the human body is 98% water, that it
clicks.
has some kind of gravitational pull.
All I know is we knew it was a full moon in the medical field because it was a crazy day. There was
and if you
weirdest
factor that
things.
in with Friday the 13th, which I really I don't think there's anything to that. But
Have you not seen the movies?
Has
Come on.
Jason not been to your house yet?
but when you include those two together, weird things happen.
Yeah.
Weird things will happen in nightclubs tonight.
Just throw a full moon in
if
there.
you work
yeah.
in a nightclub tonight, there will be a fight.
Oh, but there is a country dance club right
Yeah.
here. It's called
Electric Cowboy, right?
Electric
2 doors
Cowboy
I did
down.
in
not
our
know that.
parking lot. So be careful
I
when
did
you
not know
leave,
that.
Greggo. Yeah.
Well, we are here on this
Friday the 13th.
full moon, Friday the 13th, here on the SPAMM Saloon show with Bo and Greggo. And SPAMM is S for sports, P for politics, A for adventure, M for music, and little m for media. We've changed that.
I want to come up with something different for A.
Okay.
Well, ass.
That's
ass
what I
work?
thought. But anyways, we're gonna come up with something different for
We
A.
could have ass clowns, but I don't know how that works.
We'll search it and we'll work on it. But there's something better out there for
No,
A's.
well, we might change
We're not
it.
adventurous. We're more daring. We're more
I still like ass
aspiracious. We're more maybe.
Greggo's he's
yeah.
bailing out
I'm
on
thinking.
us. He's
We'll
bailing
work
out
on
us.
that A. That adventurous doesn't fit us, y'all.
But we are here to do that, and we discuss that on Mondays and Fridays here live at 7 p.m.
Live.
at the Carver Plus Studios, and it's powered by the Tsunami Digital Network. So we thank you for that, and we want to let you know that we just bring it. And we may not discuss all those particular elements in one given night, but
We won't.
we try to cover as much as we can. And we're excited about the show. I hope you're excited about the show. We're getting a lot of people tuned in. And so you can see us live a couple different ways. You can go to Twitter, twitter.com/Bo and Greggo. If you do that, you'll find us. Or if you're on Twitter, you can just go at Bo and Greggo, and that's the Bo and Greggo Show. Or on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Bo and Greggo. Or if you're on Facebook, search Bo and Greggo Show, and we pop up. And we are live right now.
Now, really?
Right? Well, I'm hoping. I'm not going to guarantee anything.
The full moon.
We're
You never
supposed-
know.
And
Those gremlins.
Hey, we
Yeah,
do have
who
gremlins and
knows?
monkey business around here.
There's all kinds of stuff could be jumping around. And so I am one of the hosts. I'm Bo Carver, and I'm part of the Bo and Greggo show, and doing Facebook and making comments, and you can do that. So join us on Facebook at the Bo and Greggo show page on Facebook and make comments, and Barbie and Purple Haze will be able to
figure it out somehow.
figure it out.
Jody made a comment, and I don't see which. I can't figure out how to figure it out.
All right,
so
I'll tell you, it's right there. Just read it.
But it's not on mine. Why is it on yours?
Well, I don't know. It's the Friday the 13th. Read that comment and then move on.
Yes, sir.
And also running Twitter.
Twitter.
The man, the guy,
Hi.
Graham Knoxmere Bo Carver.
Who's not happy because I just turned him into a Gramster the hamster for my kids' storybooks.
So my legacy is ruined.
It's for the kids,
it's
though. It's going to be a storybook, and you got to be a hamster.
He's lost his studism at Perrin High
I
School.
turned him into a hamster.
And we appreciate you doing that, Graham Knoxmere Bo Carver. And he's also our statistician. So if something comes up that we don't know, he'll look it up and let us know.
Being a hamster is my job, or the Twitter thing
Both.
is my job?
You're a
All of
statistician.
Well, thank you
Put
Put
very
that on
much.
your resume.
I'm a statistical analyst.
Hey,
that sounds
that's even
more
better.
fancy,
I
right?
like
We'll
that
start using
better.
that. And so we appreciate you tuning in. And again, we're here every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. Now, the shows are archived on those particular sites. They're archived on twitter.com/Bo and Greggo, or on facebook.com/Bo and Greggo. But they're also archived on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube, probably up there tomorrow, the next day, and the show will be archived there. So you can go to youtube.com and then search Bo and Greggo Show. Now, the thing that we're going to add to YouTube is we're going to add some wackiness to that YouTube page. Now, subscribe to that page. Go there and subscribe, because we're going to be doing some things on that YouTube page that you won't see on Twitter or Facebook. So if you're interested in seeing some of the wackiness that might be added to the Bo and Greggo show, you might want to go there so that you can see some extra wackiness. And so there's a lot of places you can find us, and we do appreciate you tuning in tonight here at 7 p.m. on this Friday evening. And now I'm going to turn my attention over to the guy that I am so happy to be partners with on this show. Please make welcome Greggo the Hammer, and he's going to give you some fried spam right now, I think, aren't you?
Well, I was kind of conflicted last night because last night was of course NFL football, and I normally, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Thursday night game, I think they're kind of since you have the two regular games on Sunday, and then you have the Sunday night game, and then the Monday night game, and then they added the Thursday. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if NFL football is on, usually I watch it. So I was going to watch a little bit of the debate last night, then switch over and watch. I don't know if you know this, Bo, but last night you had two Heisman Trophy winners opposing each other, Jameis Winston and Cam Newton. And this week, you've got it again.
Oh, is that right? Who's the other one against Cam Newton?
Well,
or is it Cam Newton?
Nope. You've got Kyler Murray.
Oh, that's right.
You got Kyler Murray going. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. But he's also going against. Who's he going against? He's going against another Heisman Trophy winner. I'm drawing.
Well, who they're playing?
They are playing. Arizona is what? Help me out here.
That's Kyler Murray.
Graham,
who's playing?
If you'll give me a second,
Statistician Graham.
I will tell you who they're playing. I should have had that, but I didn't write it down because I'm kind of
everywhere right now.
And somebody out there right now.
And we're only live. That's all.
Exactly. Somebody out there is. Arizona's playing Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Okay. Lamar Jackson. So I was thinking, my gosh, has that ever happened when you had four quarterbacks going against each other in the same week?
That is pretty crazy. Yeah?
And then I got to thinking that not only is Lamar Jackson going up against Kyler Murray, but he's also handing off to a Heisman Trophy winner in Mark Ingram,
Yes.
and he's backed up by another Heisman winner in RG3.
That's truth.
And so it's Heisman or us. So I tuned in to watch the debate. Then I was going to switch over, and I never switched. It was such a train wreck.
It was. I watched
It
some
was
of
such a train
it. It was
wreck,
entertaining, though.
and it was entertaining on a sad part.
It was entertaining for the Republican side.
Yeah, because
you're just watching them be idiots.
they just keep handing gold out.
I mean, Biden, you're sitting here looking at Biden and he's going after Sanders, and then you're looking at who is the Hispanic guy running
Oh,
Costco?
Castro. I mean, the guy
Castro, yeah, you're just like
the
and
guy
then
who
you
came out of his mother's womb with a protest
sign,
placard in his
and then
hand.
you got Beto saying we are going to take your guns, you're going to sell them back, and you got other Republicans making comments on
Well,
Twitter. It was kind of great.
And Elizabeth and Pocahontas over there just absolutely giving away everything.
It's insane.
Santa Claus government.
And she has the same answer every time she's asked, how are you going to fund this? Well, we're going to tax the rich. Well, as of last night, the rich were going to be taxed at about 180%.
99.9. Yeah.
And
No,
aren't they
100, and there's only 100%.
Aren't they considered the rich? Aren't they making the VAT?
Yeah, but they're in a different
but
class.
they don't get taxed like we do,
No, they don't.
That's why
Well,
they're going to tax the rich.
And what she doesn't understand, because she is she's not an idiot, but she's acting like one, because all these rich people, if you start taxing them,
they're going to stop claiming their money.
or they're going to start parking it offshore.
And then the middle class is going to get it.
That's-
and the middle class is already
Well, the
getting
middle
it.
class
Yeah.
Exactly. always
what
pay
they've
for
already done.
Middle
you know?
class is already getting ripped.
Yep. I mean,
We
the
are.
middle class has always paid for the rich, because if you're too rich, you don't pay taxes.
Right, because you know how
And
to
if
hide
you're
it.
too poor, you can't afford to pay it.
Because you're on government funds.
So the middle class funds everything, and I don't understand why they can't understand that. And then you got Bernie saying that they're going to wipe all the debt off for everybody.
How?
I
mean, these
they
people are going to
can't.
go bankrupt
They
if you
can't.
do. Yes.
They can't. But it's an absolute power grab
Right.
by the idiot socialist communists.
It's BS to get the vote. and one-
Let me ask you something. What would you have thought with a debate like that 20 years ago?
I'd have
It
said you're
never would've
crazy.
happened.
It wouldn't
People
happen.
would have.
It never would have happened.
They would have come up there with a big vacuum cleaner and sucked every one of them off the stage.
Oh, that's an abortion.
Well,
They would have aborted every one of them.
And how about no flag? Are we gotten to the place where
They
we
don't want to offend the American people, so they don't put an
How do
American
you
flag
offend the
up.
American people
when you're
without
supposed
having-
to stand up for it? Yes, you're right.
I'm
There's
telling
no
you,
American flag anywhere on that debate station.
That.
So
if-
you left the
if
NFL
this-
game for that, right?
Never went to the NFL game.
Because it was a comical. It was
Never
almost
went
like
to it.
watching one of my soap operas. I couldn't leave because I was like, what's going to happen next? Who's going to get it next? I want to know who's going to die or get shot.
And then see, it was the first time that Pocahontas was on with Biden, and at some point, her or Bernie, the two communists, and don't call them socialists, they're communists.
Yeah, they're
Straight
not
up.
completely.
They are
Straight up.
communists.
Straight up.
And sooner or later, one of them is, you've got to, if you're chasing the rabbit, I mean, sooner or later, you've got to get to that rabbit and do so and submit it. And so I thought it was going to be one of them that was going to attack Biden, but it was the Texan. I mean, it was
Beto?
it was idiot Castro.
Yeah,
How
Castro. He's from Houston.
appropriately named.
Oh, is he?
How appropriately named Castro.
So, how many Texans are there? Castro and Beto are both from
That's
Texas.
it. That's it.
okay.
That's the only two.
And they'll be out pretty soon.
And both of them last night are their presidential aspirations are as dead as Eddie Money
Yes.
today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Amen.
Both of them.
All right.
Because
I thought Betos was gone
because
a couple weeks ago.
Castro, the first thing he does is attack Biden for not remembering something.
Correct.
But he conflated what Biden was talking about, so he was totally in the wrong.
Yeah.
And then he attacks him for not remembering. And poor Biden over there, who's losing his teeth, who by the way,
Poor Biden.
yeah,
Poor Biden.
yeah. I mean,
Aw.
his teeth were the smartest thing on the stage last night because they were trying to make an early exit last night.
He needed more polygrip, you saying?
He did. He absolutely lost his teeth.
I never even noticed.
Yes, and he never recovered. He was doing okay and standing up for himself until his teeth let loose.
And then he fell.
And then
I
he
mean,
never
okay.
really recovered from that. And then you've got
Not
idiot,
enough polygrip.
And then
Maybe the
you've got-
government can pay for some more polygrip for him.
and then you've got idiot beta male
Beta
over
male.
there
He's a joke.
who is
People need to fact check him before they even think about
You know what?
voting for
I just
Beto.
want to say this one thing right now. I am going out to buy an AR-15, so just see
And
if
put
he's
his
gonna
name
come.
on it.
I'm gonna-
Beto, my
I'm gonna have
AR-15's
it.
waiting for
I'm
you.
gonna have it. Yeah, I'm gonna have
Don't
it.
say that. The Clintons will hear it. And you're going to be on suicide watch. Don't do it.
That
I
is
kind of
a-
am, but I'm already there usually.
See, Bernie Sanders is a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, and it actually perfectly fits him because he takes.
he's a communist.
Well,
A-
see,
you know,
communism is all about
a-
giving what you can.
A
and-
socialist is someone that is too stupid to know they're a communist.
Yeah, there you go.
That's half the people in America.
I mean, that's and
And didn't he say that? Well, we're not going to be like Venezuela or
well, and Venezuela
or-
said they're not going to be like Cuba.
Yeah,
and
or
Cuba said they're
Scandin-
not going to be like the Soviet Union.
Well, let me just tell you a story about the health care from a standpoint of socialism. I have a friend of mine that's my dear friend who's I call the Amish Mafia because he was raised Amish, and he has a relative that's an American but moved to Canada and needed surgery and found out
years.
that it was going to take about couple of years to
Yeah.
get it. So he comes back across the border to get it so he can get it within like a week.
Exactly.
See,
That's
see-
the,
and-
that's,
and
See,
what-
I don't like
that's
those
your
stories.
socialized medicine. It doesn't work. It's always like that. And if you think that health care is expensive now,
Oh,
wait
you
till
just
it's
wait
wait
till
till it's
Democrat
free.
gets in there.
Wait till it's free and find out how
Obama said it was
expensive
going to be free,
Well,
and
See,
you
people
know
were
what?
I don't like these stories because you can have cherry pickers who will come and give you great stories about the Canadian healthcare system. People
Right.
who, didn't wait, but a day and then.
Well,
had
you'll
to
have
pay
the same
nothing.
ones from Sweden,
Yeah.
and some,
Right.
and some of the
you can't use
Scandinavian
those.
countries.
You got to look at a broad perspective. Socialism as a whole really needs to be supported by heavy-scaled capitalism to even slightly be successful.
But people hear the word free, and that's all they need.
All you have to do is look at the VA department
It's awful.
and the VA hospital and look how screwed up that is.
Yes.
And you are only dealing with a small
Yes.
percentage of the population, and they can't get that right.
No, they
and
can't.
so yet they're gonna make health care free for 350 million people.
They can't afford it.
It is a pipe dream.
You can't afford it.
And I just want to know what's going to happen to the 10 million people that work in the so-called health industry that deals with because that's
There's
about how many
hospitals
workers.
going bankrupt and having to
Yep.
close. Doctors are stopping accepting insurance because his insurance aren't paying because they're not getting paid.
and
it's-
and
it's-
whose fault
So
is that?
it's a
the
pipe
government
dream.
because they're not getting paid.
It's a pipe dream that's never going to happen.
You're right.
But the only reason that these communists are doing it is to get votes
They
where
want
they
the
can get
votes.
in power.
And
It's
then-
Santa Claus government.
But they're once they get in, it's not going to happen. Just like if you look at Trump right now, all the things he
Well-
brought to what he said,
well, now
it's wonderful.
You say that now, but they own the House, and if something weird can happen, and we all know, we should all take notice that 2016 weird things happen during elections. If they were to win the Senate and the White House, then all that would become law.
Then I'm buying a bunker and a boat, and I'm out of here.
No,
Well-
don't say that because that's what that's what all the liberals said, that if Trump was elected, that they'd move, and nobody ever does.
We dealt with Obama and we dealt with all the Democrats, and we didn't bitch.
Well,
So
here's the
why
thing.
can't they do it?
The lies
if-
about Obamacare.
If
we should
Pocahontas
learn
and
from
Crazy
that.
Bernie get in,
We're screwed.
Obama doesn't hold a candle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
To
say.
The country
That's
is
okay.
going down. It
even
really is.
even right now, they are putting forth laws, and I believe it's called public law. Is if the law is not overruled by the Congress, no, the Supreme Court, within 7 years of being declared a law, it becomes public law, and it's the rule of the land. So currently, they're still trying to pass laws, even though they are not taking over. the
Well,
entirety of the
if
government.
you want a little good news, Trump appointed his 150th judge the other day. So he's putting some rule of law judges in there and getting rid of those activist liberals that Obama stack the judicial court with. But that thing last night, I mean, that was
a comedy. I can't wait to see what Saturday Night Live has to say about that.
They won't tack that because they're communists too.
If there was a real Saturday Night Live, they would.
Well, I really would like to
Maybe
have
we should
someone
do that,
name
Bo.
one detrimental thing that Trump has done. One bad thing Trump has done for this
well, he's
country.
mean and he tweets.
Yeah, no, I honestly I would love if he stopped the tweeting because
We
it's
all
just
do,
gibberish.
but he's not going to. So
Well,
next,
I don't want him to because
I don't either.
if he doesn't, then he doesn't get his message out. Because
Absolutely.
because
the
if you
news
go-
isn't going to do it, right?
If you go through the filter of that communist media that we've got right now,
yeah,
they don't. They just
they don't
they
tell you
are
the truth.
the bias of omission that they do it's stunning. The things that they
It's
don't
pathetic.
cover. It was like last week when they had that just scathing report on Jim Comey. CNN didn't even cover it.
Why would they?
Because it doesn't fit
CNN
their
is
narrative.
Clinton News Network.
Or the Communist News Network.
Yeah,
What
and
is
half
it?
of those people are under indictment themselves. Half those news reporters are under indictment themselves.
Well, I know one thing is that it's a circus, and
It's a joke,
The
bro.
issue, the problem is that you just pick one out of the hat, and I think it doesn't matter. I think they're all basically one and the same. But when they start running in 2020, like you were saying, Greggo, you just don't. It's scary. Because it could go 50-50. I mean, you're in a 50-50 situation when the day of election.
It's going to be extremely hard for the Republicans to take the House over.
Why is that?
I hope they do. Boy, I pray. Boy, it's going to be a long year next year. You know that?
But it's going to be even a longer road for the Democrats to win the Senate. Now, as far as the White House, I hate to say this, but I think that's a coin flip right now.
yeah.
Because the margin of which Trump won the electoral college was razor thin as it was, and so he has no room for error, zero.
Right.
And so a couple of votes here, a couple of votes there, a little chicanery by the Democrats here, and some of these Democratic states, and
they're working on it
who
already.
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
And so you're going to have
the lies is the thing is that they just keep pounding and pounding and pounding, and like you said, Monday is they're doing the media is doing everything in their power to bring this president down.
Yeah.
And if you're not very educated, like a lot of people that vote, they just go like, oh,
A lot of people that vote are bused there and told how to vote.
well, they're not educated about what's really
Exactly.
going on, and it's like they can
Exactly.
say I hate Trump just because I hate Trump, not what he's
Because
done.
everybody else is hating
But
him.
if you
Right,
were just
exactly.
if you were just a normal citizen that watched the news 30 minutes out of the day and don't listen to any talk radio,
You would hate Trump.
Yes,
Because
you
of
would-
what they say.
Exactly.
A lot of people hate Trump right
Exactly.
now. And I don't know whether, I mean, it could be misinformation, but I think what actually happens is a lot of people read into what other people are saying via word of
Correct.
mouth.
They don't
not-
find their own
Well, and I also
opinion.
think you're right, Graham, but I also think they don't like his personality. They don't.
He's
they-
aggressive.
Well, you don't have to like his
And
personality.
we are still
It doesn't
15.
matter.
We're 15 months away from the actual election.
Oh, it's going to be
And-
long.
and he's
as
at-
dirty as it is right now, I can't imagine. one year from today,
It's going to be
on
awful.
September 3rd, I just can't imagine
I know.
the rhetoric that's going to go
Oh,
on.
It's
gonna be
really,
awful.
I think
and
his,
the dirty tricks that
Yeah.
because the Democrats on the day after the election they had lost their mind then.
They did.
And now it's been 2.5 years and they are clinically
They're
insane
still
now.
trying to figure out what to do to get him impeached.
Exactly. And I read now where because they put so much emphasis on that Mueller report. That was going to be
Their ticket, yes.
that was going to be their golden basket.
Yes.
Where Mueller's going to hand this to us. We're going to impeach him, and that's it. And
Hello.
and for some reason, I guess they think that if they because most people think that impeach means remove,
Right.
and all that does is mean that you're bringing charges against the president. It takes the Senate to remove him. Well, do you think that the Republicans are going to move? No, it's not going to happen.
No, not at all.
And And then that's number one of just how insane the Democrats are. Just absolutely just brain dead.
It's insane.
And then if Trump is removed, I guess they think that they're just going to move Hillary in there. No, then you're going to get Pence, who is, if they think Trump is bad
Yes, exactly.
on some conservative
Moving
movements,
on up,
wait
yeah.
till you move Pence in there.
But they're not thinking that way because they don't think.
No, I mean they are so outraged and so angry and just so delusional that they're not thinking right.
I don't think that the like average Democrat is an idiot. I think there's a better word for it. I think they are immediates. They think of the fastest solution, the easiest solution, and then just pretend like it's gonna work.
They're the I want it nows.
Yes.
Well, a lot of it has to do with power and control.
Yes.
And in order to get that, you've got to have the power, and then you have the control. And in order to get the power, you got to get the votes. And so I know they're doing everything imaginable to get out there to get everybody to vote, whether you're legal or illegal or
Or
whether
dead.
you're-
Why do you think they are so hell bent on opening the borders
That's
and
it.
not having border? Because they see every illegal immigrant as a vote. If they thought,
Sure they do.
if those Democrats thought for 1 second,
Yeah, I know where you're going.
if they thought for 1 second that those illegals coming across would vote Republican, they would build
The
a
biggest wall.
to the moon.
But what
You
about
couldn't get over it with a rocket ship.
what
That's
about them
funny.
wanting the prisoners to vote? The prisoners aren't
What's
even in
all that, too?
society.
Once
What do they
again,
have the right to vote?
That would be
Exactly.
that would be such disaster because
Yeah.
you've got about 4 people in all the prisons
That know
that
anything
control
about
that
politics.
that control all the inmates.
Correct.
There you go.
And they
Yeah.
would go to all 4, that they would bribe these guys and say,
Correct.
you know what, we need your whole cell block
Yes.
to vote. And they'd go to them
They would.
and basically it would be, okay, you're going to vote for this guy, and if you don't, I'm going to shove a shank right in your gut.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it would be.
And they
It's-
do
it's-
it right.
It's just the whole thing is insane. I just wish that our forefathers, when they wrote the Constitution, had somehow installed a reset button where we could reset all of this stuff, because there's problems on the Republican side too.
Well, sure
Oh, yeah,
there's.
yeah,
I mean-
there
I mean,
is.
our-
They don't even
our-
stand with our president on half his stuff.
I mean, our deficit now is I don't know how it's going to this country can sustain. And one of these days, that credit card bill is going to come due. And when it does, this company is going to find itself bankrupted
We're screwed.
as we're going now. Now, if you get the Democrats in there and let
boy.
them start giving
OMG.
everything for free,
Yeah.
it's really going to be bad. So there's problems on both sides.
They'll raise our taxes, make the middle class pay more. You old people are going to get hacked off because they want your security
what
numbers.
you're missing a little bit. What's going to happen is it's free for everything. You've got all the millennials that are coming out of college that don't want to pay their college debt, so that's taken care of. We want free health care for everybody, so that's taken care of. At some point in time, like you're talking about the debt, that's got to be paid.
People have to
and,
work.
And that's how socialism doesn't work, because all of a sudden now we're all equal, and the productive people are making the same amount of money as the unproductive people, and they don't want to do it anymore.
insane.
Socialism.
Yeah, that's what
is-
happens, and that's why it falls, because I'm not
Because
gonna, I'm not gonna go.
you run out of other people's money.
Correct. That's the ticket
you
right
can't
there.
take
That's
money
what
from me
happened to
anymore.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
I mean, they overtaxed everything. They
Took
they
everything.
nationalized, all the industries, and then all of a sudden, there's-
Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything, and they
all of
want
a
everything
sudden,
for free.
You have a guy with a wheelbarrow
Yeah.
full of money, and it's worth about $1.50.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what scared me yesterday when I was driving home from Amarillo? I saw all these license plates from California. And
Oh, they're
I was like,
coming in
are
here.
you kidding me?
Well, the reason they're coming to Texas is because the taxes are
Through
just
the roof out there, man.
it's stunning.
But
how
yet they
much
want to bring their
cheaper-
politics to
That's-
us.
And you know what?
You're running
scary.
from
That's
it. Why
why
bring
it's,
it?
It's got to be rejected. You've got to reject that, and you have to indoctrinate people and educate them. Don't allow these liberals to come in and take this state over. Don't allow it. They're taking Arizona over. They took
did.
New
They
Mexico
did.
over.
Yeah.
Colorado.
I mean,
New York is moving. They're bringing their biggest companies here to Texas because it's cheaper to buy here, and they're going to bring their thoughts and their liberalism here.
I read today where Carl Icahn, one of the biggest hedge fund managers in the world, is moving his entire operation from
To
New York
North
City
Texas.
to Miami. To Florida.
Miami, to Florida.
Yeah.
I heard somebody from New York, one of the biggest companies, were moving here to North Texas.
That happens every day. That's
because
happening
the prices
a lot.
were right, and they could afford it, and they could buy and build their capitalism, and it was more.
Well, let me
affordable.
ask you this, and we'll move on. Who do you think, out of that bunch of crazies there, do you think is going to end up running against
Biden.
I don't know.
Biden.
I really don't.
You don't have a guess on it?
I would have said Biden, except
He lost his teeth?
No, well, yeah, he did. It's just that I think that the Democratic Party is so appalled that he's so popular right now that I'm just not sure.
But they were so proud of Obama and what he did. I'm afraid they're going to vote him.
Well,
they're going to bring him back.
Obama knew to beat McCain, he had to have the white guy to get the white vote.
Right.
You know, and so that's why I picked Joe Biden. And when Trump says that Obama picked Biden off the junk heap, he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, his career was done. I mean, he ran for president twice, and both times he was shamed off the campaign trail because of just crazy gaffes.
Right.
And now, 20 years later, it's that times 10.
He's back.
You know, I don't know. I just
Well,
can't.
we're what, about a month or two away from them starting their conventions?
Well, no, the convention will be next summer, but the primary,
well,
the
I mean,
first
the
primary
primary starts
is in
in a couple-
February.
Well, that's
the
what I'm talking
Iowa
about.
primary is in February.
starting to come
Well,
around.
isn't Trump's approval rating pretty down? Hasn't
You know
that
what?
been up there?
You can't go by that
You
because
can't.
Trump
Trust that.
doesn't poll well.
Trump wouldn't have won the election if we would have listened to the polls.
He doesn't because people they're not truthful.
About
They're
that.
afraid to say I'm voting for Trump, just like that
Which
shed
I don't
out there.
understand that. I don't get
They're
that.
closet voters. They're
You know-
ashamed. But they don't want the people talking you down or bitch. Most Republicans are conservative.
Sooner or
They're not going
later-
to put up with the drama.
Sooner or later, the Republicans are going to have to stand
I
up
hope
and
so.
tell these dogs to sit.
I hope so.
Sit!
I hope
That's
so.
You know, you doggy Democrats, sit.
They need
Well,
to.
that
They will.
Well, that's-
because most of them are just
But
absolute.
we don't riot. We don't picket. We don't go out there and bitch.
Maybe
we don't do any
maybe
of
they
that.
should start doing that.
We
Well, that-
need
that's
to.
been-
They should
Yes.
start doing it.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
been one of the complaints I've had for a long time about the Republican Party is that
We keep our peace.
well, like you look at the Democrats, they go after Trump real hard. They go after this real hard, and the Republicans. Why, I mean, I'm going like, why hasn't Clinton, at least Hillary, been at least delved into to some degree from the Republican Party as hard as they went after
Well,
Trump with the Russian
all
thing?
you need to know about the mindset of these insane Democrats, and they are insane, is Beto saying that, hell yes, I'm going to take your AK-47s.
Correct.
And then you had a Texas congressman say, hey, Beto, my AR is ready
waiting
for you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, and then Beto said, that's a
That's
death threat.
yes,
And he called
amen.
the FBI. Okay, do you think I'm going to trust that dude with a
No.
red flag law?
No
No.
way.
I mean, if they have these red flag laws, then
That's part of the
then
gig-up.
somebody could listen to this, what I'm saying tonight, and go, "Oh, that Greg Williams, he's insane," and they call in on me, and all of a sudden I'm red flag, and they take my no, there will be none of that.
That's the same thing. No offense.
The Democrats
Yeah.
must be defeated.
They
They
need
must
to.
be destroyed, and they must be defeated.
I
And-
will
and-
not
and-
give up my guns.
And
I don't
I
care.
really hope that in 2020 there is a huge statement of that, so
me
that
too.
people,
Well,
because I really think if it's not, we're headed for real trouble in this country.
what I
down the
don't
road.
understand is they completely deny any sort of relationship with the Constitution.
Who is they?
Everyone running at this point for the
Democrats.
Well, because they don't
Democrats.
believe it, because they have been indoctrinated to believe that it was written by a bunch of slave-owning white people,
And that's totally incorrect if they would look at their history.
and so that they believe that this country was founded on slave principles, and that's the original sin.
Racist thoughts.
And all they want to do,
Is-
we fought
That's
a civil war.
ignorance
we,
right there.
We fought a civil war on that 150 years ago.
Right.
And we got that handled. Now, is there racism that goes on? Yes. Is there bad racism? Yes. It's a problem. It's a big problem. It's also a problem in every other country in the
Well,
world.
I think it's also a big problem in all the races. It's not just white against everybody else. I mean, there's racism.
Everybody's against the whites.
Now it's racism from blacks to whites and Hispanics.
It's a problem, but you know what?
Yes.
It's not as bad as it was 20 years ago.
Look at the
and
prison
20 years ago,
systems.
and 20 years ago, it wasn't as bad as it was 50 years before
Correct.
that, and 100 years before that.
It is definitely improving. See, what I don't
No,
get is
but
the
look at-
president's
Go ahead.
main job is to uphold the Constitution.
Correct.
That will always be stated as the president's main job is to defend the land and uphold the rule of the
But
land.
see, the problem is you've got all these activists, left-leaning judges that just won't do it.
Correct.
Did you? The one of the people that the fathers of one of the victims of that Parkland shooting wrote a book, and he talked about that nutcase that went in that Florida high school and killed all those kids. This guy, there were so many warning signs on this guy, but they couldn't do anything because of liberal policies that were put in,
Right.
that were enacted by the Obama administration and Eric Holder, to where that, oh, we can't really do anything to these people.
Right.
And this guy was posting things. Everybody at school knew he was a problem.
Didn't that happen in El Paso
It-
with the guy getting on the top of his roof and shooting animals and
He was
stuff?
shooting rabbits, and they called about
and
him. and-
he got turned down to buy a weapon, and he bought it illegally.
But his job has also called him in about his aggressiveness, and the police were brought in, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are liberal policies.
Yeah,
Those aren't
correct.
conservative policies.
Exactly.
These
And
are
so-
the laws that are in place right now.
And so what's going to happen is if you strengthen these, I mean, there are certain things that need to be tweaked with guns. And me as a class 3 license holder for guns, I realize that.
Right.
But
They
you
want
know,
to do the universal
last time-
policy.
The last time I checked, rape was against the law. People still
Do it.
rape.
Drugs.
Murder was against the law.
Robbery.
They still do it.
Yeah.
Drugs were against the law. People still find them.
Yeah.
And so you can pass all you want to, and all you're going to do is drive law-abiding citizens that will follow the letter of the law when it comes to owning guns, and
You're going to put us on the other side. You're going to
exactly,
push us.
exactly. Although they're not going to do that to me,
But
I can guarantee that.
Well,
You
thank
know?
y'all for
I agree.
tuning in here on the SPAMM Saloon. That's SPAMM. That's sports, politics, adventure, music, and media. And we've been talking politics, but I'd like to move. Can we move in a little bit different direction?
Let's go.
now? I'd like to talk about. Let's get into a little bit of sports here, and before we, instead of talking so much about a particular game or something, cup, although the Cowboys are playing at noon against Washington, go Cowboys. What's this deal about? Why we have such craziness that happens, like with Cam Newton and Antonio Brown, and how these guys are, and also, well, you can throw Odell
Well, what's-
Beckham
well,
into
what's
that
Cam
bunch if you
Newton
want to. Well, when I mean,
Now,
when
he
you come,
dresses funny. He dresses like Mary Poppins, but you know, if he was winning,
That's his American right.
if he were winning, he'd be quirky. But now, since he's 0-2, then he's crazy.
well, he is crazy. I
think the guy has been hurt too much, and I think he's taking.
I know that you were a big believer in him coming out.
Oh, I love
remember that.
I love that guy.
I know you do.
I mean, I when he was in college, I discovered that guy.
He's not becoming a Caitlyn, is he?
No, he's
I don't
he's
think
a.
that.
You can't, as a quarterback, you can't take that beating that he took for those years as being
Physical
a running
beating?
quarterback. You just can't take it. And I don't think he's healthy. He season ended early last year because of a shoulder injury. I don't think that's healed properly, and I just don't think that he can be the type of quarterback that he needs to be successful, because he's not a drop back quarterback. He's
Right,
not.
he's a runner. He's an option
And-
type person.
And I mean, he's got, despite the fact that he can throw a football over them mountains like Uncle Rico, he is not he's not a drop back quarterback. He's not a drop back and go through the progressions of receivers and find that he's not that guy. He's never going to be that guy. That's no knock on him at all. He's just not that quarter. They knew that when they drafted him, and so he's having a hard time adjusting, and I don't know that he will. I don't know that he'll be able to. Now, as far as going out there and dressing like Mary Poppins, you know, I happen to like that. I
Okay.
think that's kind of cool.
Well, it just. I don't know. It seems like that we just get into.
Like I said, if he was 2-0, everybody would be talking about how cool he looks. But since he's,
I don't think he looks cool.
I don't.
It makes me want to go get pancakes.
but
We will later.
now, as far as Antonio Brown, did I tell you on Friday that by the time that we came in here on Monday that things would change? It changed before I got in my car Friday night.
So what's changed since now?
Well, he went from apologizing and was going to start for the Raiders to waking up Saturday morning
And signing.
after he had secretly taped
Right,
his head
right,
coach and posted it on Instagram and then told the Raiders to release me.
So today's Friday. What's happened since Monday to Friday?
Well, he's been accused of doing
He's been accused of rape.
Yeah.
Has he? I haven't heard that
Yes.
one. Boy, Amarillo doesn't tell me
He's
nothing.
under a lot of investigation
So
with that right now.
did he sign the contract for the Patriots?
Yes, he did already. And
So
he's
is
been
he going to
working
be on
out.
the team?
Oh, he's going to play.
He's going to play, and he's still been accused of rape. But yet any movie star or any movie producer has been polled and rejected and forgotten about, but yet he's still allowed to play?
There's a lot of weird stuff on that because apparently he raped her 3 times.
Yeah, so that's kind of
that's
questionable.
interesting.
Okay, now if you get raped, and once again, I'm not qualified to because nobody knows except those two on what happened.
Well, this
so
pound me,
I'm not going to take a
hashtag me
side.
doesn't
so
work.
so let's look at the facts, okay?
Right.
All right. He had a relationship with this girl. She admitted that they had consensual sex many times. And apparently he raped her 3 times. Okay, why did it take her 3 years from the last rape to do it now?
Yeah.
Since he signed a deal and has $15 million?
So
Yeah, I'm
she's
not a
into
big
the-
Antonio Brown
now
fan, but that's not good.
She also, now these are facts. And once again, I don't know what happened.
Right.
She went to him and wanted $1.6 million.
OMG.
He said no. Okay, and then all of a sudden we hear about the rapes. That's facts. That happened.
Why do women do this?
Well, and I'm not, and maybe he did. Maybe, and she showed some emails and texts that he had. There was some just absolute disgusting things that he said to her. You know, I think they're both dirt bags, but I'm not. But I'm not going to sit here and say that she was wrong or that she wasn't. She might have been. I'm not qualified to say that, and only
Correct.
2 people know. I
Correct.
just know the facts that.
There's the truth, her side, his side, and the truth,
Well,
and no one's
And,
going to
and
ever
I,
know.
I
I can
just
tell
know
you
that a lot of times, women don't report this kind of stuff. But then it happened again, and it happened the second time,
3
and then a
times,
third
third
time,
time, no.
and then 3
No.
years later,
No.
she goes, "I need 1.6 million." He
No.
goes, "No, I'm not going to give it." And
No.
then she comes forward. That's fact.
She should have joined the Pound Me following then
Man,
if she was so
Pound Me
worried.
too.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Well-
hashtag me or whatever the hell
Well,
that
the
was.
thing about it is that it's a story, and that's just another story that's
and she's
following
getting
him.
her name out there, yeah.
Based on what happened.
I mean, there's a movement out there that are appalled because there is this commissioner's exempt list, to where that if you're accused of a crime, then the commissioner can put you on the exempt list where you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Okay, which they want him on that just on the accusation, because everybody is afforded due process.
They took Dak out or for what, 6 games because he was accused? Zeke or whatever?
Yeah,
He was
He
accused?
was on that.
So he
Right.
couldn't play the first 6 games?
But see, I think here's something that nobody's brought up that I think could be a problem with that exempt list. And I don't know that this is going. I haven't read this from it. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I haven't read anything, but that there are several. I think there are 11 states now that have legalized NFL gambling, where you can.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, where you can legally gamble. You've always been able to gamble in in Las Vegas
Right.
on games, and that is a multi-billion-dollar a year business.
Definitely.
So, what's to keep some gambler from going to some team or some girl and go, "Hey, accuse this guy of rape,"
That's what they've been doing to all the presidents.
and we will get, and the commissioner will put him on the exempt list. and then we can start banking.
The politics do it.
There's too much fraud that could go on with that
Right.
list. Now I don't know if that's the reason that Goodell hasn't done it, but he's been pretty flippant using that list, and for some reason he hasn't applied it yet. And Antonio Brown, the way he acted, the way things happened in Pittsburgh, where he quit on his team,
Correct.
and then forced his way out, then he shows up there and forces his way out again, and then all of a sudden he's accused of rape. That would be a prime case.
I agree with that.
To apply that
I do
exempt
agree with
list.
that.
And for some reason, the commissioner didn't do it. So I don't know. Now,
Well, and so that's the problem. So here's all this going on, and he has he's put people on suspension for a whole lot less than that at times.
well,
Or
now it's
just
just an
accusation.
accusation. This is just the accusation.
That was the same thing that happened with our Cowboy player.
Yeah, although the emails.
There were a few. There were a few things with
What
Zeke that
about
were.
Big Ben though, when they accused him of rape?
But they didn't suspend him.
He
I
wasn't
don't think.
suspended.
Yeah,
No.
but these emails really make him look incriminating.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
yeah, it really.
But once again, why wait 3 years, and all of a sudden when he signs the big deal, and you say, okay, I need 1.6 million,
And he says,
she
"No,
says,
you
and
go
he
after
says
it,"
no,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden, then rape becomes a big problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem for 3 years.
See,
with
and
it.
that's what's the bad thing is it brings us women
And
and
I
our
don't
rights.
know.
It just brings us
Well,
down
I think
when they're
pound,
falsely accused.
I think the Pound Me Too movement is hurting the women's
It
more
has
than
hurt
Well,
us
see,
big
all this
time.
does, and I'm not calling this a false accusation because I really hate doing that.
None
unless
of us
it's
know.
set in
None of us
stone.
do because
We
we
don't
don't
know.
know.
So, what I'm gonna say is, when false accusations do come up, all it does is make people who have actually been sexually assaulted or raped seem
Insulted.
like
Look
morons.
at Brett Kavanaugh. Look what they
There
did
you
to
go.
him.
Correct.
Yeah.
Look what they did to him. And yet you've got the Attorney General of Minnesota, who they have it on videotape of him beating the crap out of a girl.
Yeah.
That's okay. That seems to be okay.
But yeah, if Trump would have done that, I mean, let's go to politics besides football. If Trump would have done that, what would they have done? Think about
would've
it.
been a
Turn
piece
it
of
around.
Me Too
Exactly.
is a problem unless
Yeah.
you're one of their buddies.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, well, let's
Let's sweep it under the
Yeah,
rug.
let's
Let's
sometimes
just ignore it.
sometimes they'll defend like domestic abusers just because they're on their side. So, the Me Too movement is a joke, and it really makes.
Women look like idiots when
Well,
they've really
it
been
makes-
raped
well,
and
yeah.
really need
and
help.
what you're seeing now is you're seeing so many men in hiring positions that
Won't
aren't
hire
hiring
women.
women.
No, I don't blame 'em.
And they're not allowing women to go on certain trips. And when they have a meeting, if a woman has a legitimate problem and she needs to talk to her boss, the boss brings somebody else in there with him. And
Don't
when
blame him.
when she wants confidentiality, all because, and I don't blame these guys.
No,
I'm in the
not at
medical
all.
field, and when we do women exams, the male doctors have to have a chaperone. Now, even the female doctors are having chaperones because people are crying rape. So we're having to go in the rooms with the doctors just to stand there as a standby, so the doctor has someone to prove nothing happened in this room behind closed doors.
Now, there was a problem with men sexually abusing women and using it and weaponizing it in the workplace to get a little side piece.
Women have done the same thing, though.
But for
Women
the most
bosses.
part, we
Mostly the men, yeah.
did you watch Mad Men?
No, sir.
Well,
No,
that-
but I guess we
that-
need to watch it.
that culture existed, and something needed to be done about it.
Right.
But they just went too far, and
Yeah.
and when that Me Too was going on, I mean, you were having guys that were getting fired and smeared because they told a dirty joke.
and
Yeah, that's crazy.
taking off the newscasting just for some accusation. I know, it's insane.
And,
Well-
so they went too far on it.
I
but,
agree, and
But
I'm
as
a
far
woman,
as
I
Antonio
agree.
Brown, I don't know what happened between him and
Well,
that woman.
it-
I have no idea. Nobody does except those two. It's a he
Well, I guess
said,
we'll find out.
she said. And should he be playing?
She just
you
wants
know,
money.
You can make an argument on either side. Should he be playing? Should he not? Well, what if he did it? Well, then he shouldn't be playing. But what if he didn't do it and you don't let him
Question.
play?
Isn't this America
You know?
guilty until proven innocent?
Question.
Or innocent until proven guilty?
See, that's
Which
the problem.
one are we going?
See, that's the problem because for too long you had people that were accused and they hid behind that. Well, he hadn't had his day in court, and then you would go a year and then the case would just mysteriously disappear, and
Nothing.
Everyone forgets about it. See, with Antonio Brown, whether this accusation is true or false, he responded in just the most incriminating way. Just, he's borderline illiterate. And so doing that puts him in a bad position. If they are falsely accused, the best thing you can do is keep your calm and take it from a legal perspective instead of getting very frustrated and, slurring the woman.
I'll say,
left
before
and
we
right.
move on, do you think before he plays before he plays his game with New England, that'll be something else happen?
More, of course. It's Antonio Brown.
Oh, I think it's going to be
Something
an
happen?
ongoing process all year long. I mean,
Somebody else is going to get paid to step up, probably.
I can't wait to the first time because that Patriot system is like a machine.
Correct.
And I can't wait for the first time that he comes out of a game and they win, 21-10. And he gets 2 passes thrown his way. He catches one. The other one is underthrown. And he goes in and raises holy hell in front of Belichick and Brady.
Yeah, we'll see how that
And
rolls
I
out.
mean, that will happen because when you go up there, they spread the ball out. I mean, they've got a system, and they've won 6 Super Bowls in 20 years for a reason, because their system works, and they get players that come in there that buy into their system.
Yes.
And if you don't,
you're out.
then you're gone. And
Simple.
it has become kind of an in place for wayward players that have gone in there, and it's kind of like their last chance.
Yes.
And the majority of them make it.
Correct.
But they usually
some
make
of
it
them
for a couple
realize that
years.
is their last chance, and it works. Now, you have been tuned into the SPAMM Saloon, and we talk sports, politics, adventure, music, and media. And
I have one question. Facebook wants to know, Greggo, if you like your new gig.
I do like my new gig.
I told him I hope so.
Yeah,
That's a big question.
There goes the microphone. He dropped the microphone.
That's an old callback. Yes,
that he'll be haunted by that the rest of his life. And you are tuned in on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. live, but you can also they're archived, and we're live on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. on Twitter. You can go to twitter.com /Bo and Greggo, or you can go to facebook.com/Bo and Greggo, and those shows we do live and they're archived. Then on YouTube, if you go to youtube.com and then search Bo and Greggo Show, those shows are just archived. And then we're going to start adding some extra stuff there that you won't see on Twitter or Facebook. So it's going to be some bonus stuff. We may let you know as we go, hey, you might want to check out YouTube and subscribe to that channel. Just go in there. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go to Bo and Greggo Show on YouTube and hit subscribe. And then there we are. And then you'll see some stuff pop up as we do some crazy stuff throughout the time as we're on. And so we're getting close towards the end of the show. Is there something else you want to bring up?
I do. Have you ever been to a casino?
I've been to Windstar.
How could he?
Okay. All right. Well,
Not a betting man.
okay.
He married me.
You know what a progressive slot machine is? You ever seen one of those?
Is
in a
that the
casino?
one where you put extra money in to extra win extra money?
Progressive slot machine is one that just keeps rolling.
Okay.
I mean, and until somebody wins the big jackpot. And you look up here at this tote board, and you just see this money. And usually it's in the millions. And it's just continuously adding money to it, continuously getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you walk into these casinos and you see the progressive, you look over there and you see this tote board and you're like, oh my gosh, I mean, it's like 3.2 million, and it just keps getting bigger
Growing
and bigger
and growing by the
bigger.
second, right?
Well, there's one of those out at Cowboys right now.
Oh, out at the
Well,
In Arlington?
well, kind of figuratively, not literally. And it's the DAC progressive slot machine.
okay. I know what you're going at.
Because
That money's adding up for him, isn't it? Why does he not want to take care of that?
I think they do. And
Do you think Dak's holding out because he did such a great job? Which way we're leaning which way on that?
dealing, you're going to be dealing with a probably north of $100 million guaranteed money. And when you deal with money, think about how much $1 million is.
I can't even think about $100.
And then $100 million. And when you're dealing with that kind of finances, it's got to be just extremely complicated. It's not like that you go in there and like, hey, I want $50,000 a year. Nope, I'm only going to give you 40. Well, I want 47.5. Nope, I'll give you 43, and you end up at 45.
Right.
It's not like that. And there are so many extra things that go into contracts, and with the salary cap the way it is, it's just extremely complicated. And then when you have both sides semi-dug in, because this isn't like the Zeke deal, because Jerry knows, he understands the way the salary structure is in the NFL. The quarterbacks make a lot of money,
right? Of course.
If you're just a backup quarterback that's pretty good, that's not even a starter, you can make more money than an all-pro safety. That's just the way it's structured.
Correct.
It's crazy. It's nuts. They need to do something about it. There's nothing fair or right about it, but that's the way it is. And that's the system they're having to play under right now. And I really think that both sides want to get a deal done.
I would have thought they've already had it done. I really would have.
Now, if you believe what you're hearing, Dak has already turned down $30 million a year.
Wow.
Already turned that down. Now, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure whether I believe that or not. But he's looking around at a couple quarterbacks, Goff out there at L.A., that Dak's numbers are as good as his.
Correct.
He's looking at Carson Wentz, who basically, I know he didn't win that Super Bowl, but he got him there.
Correct.
And then Nick Foles took over. And he's seeing all these other quarterbacks get their money, and why would he take a lesser deal?
Well, I think it's a gamble on both sides, really, because if Dak come out there tomorrow, well, it was Friday, Sunday, and pulls a hamstring and he's out for 6 or 8 weeks, then that value, that dollar figure goes down. But if he goes out Sunday and throws for another, has a quarterback rating of another 158%, then that's going to that's climbing. So it is a gamble, isn't it?
He's already gambling on himself.
Correct.
Which I love players that do that. I love players that have that confidence in their own ability, that they're going to, they're confident enough to say, I'm going to, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to go ahead and
I'm going to keep pushing it. I'm going to keep putting my money in the slot machine.
You never know.
Well, again, it's a gamble.
He may. You remember when Tom Brady? You remember when they when he blew out his knee on just that freaky play, the second play in. You never know. I mean, it's a very violent game. You're talking about 250-pound men that can outrun most track stars.
Correct.
That when they hit you, things go haywire in your body.
Right. Well, just anything. I mean, you're actually talking about anything.
So you're taking, gambles. And, I don't even want to throw bad karma out, but, anything can happen when you get in your car and drive to the stadium.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen. Anything. I mean, anything can happen if you're, in a situation and you're going up some stairs and you slip and fall. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And so for me, if I had a chance that I'm making $30 million a year and all I've got to do is sign my name and I'm going to get that, I'm going to knock somebody over to get that pen to sign it. But,
we'll see. It's on the watch.
These are a different breed than we are. And they're in a rare fraternity, and
they're putting their hopes
somewhere in the back of Dak's mind. He's like, "Well, why should I take anything different? Well, why should I take a lesser deal when I'm as good as these other guys?" So, I understand both sides. I understand Dak's side. I understand Jerry's side. I understand the NFL salary cap. I understand the salary structure, and I believe it's going to get done. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if it's not done before kickoff Sunday. It wouldn't surprise me. But then again, if it goes 6 or 8 weeks into the year, that wouldn't surprise me. Nothing with Jerry Jones. Never be surprised.
He can just go to Cabo and sit on the beach till he gets his
See,
contract.
that's not the deal. See, he's playing.
I know. He's
not holding out.
Right. So before we head out, I'm getting kind of hungry, and pizza sounds pretty good right now.
No, we're not having meat.
Well, I don't think Greggo understands what I just said there.
I don't understand it either.
Pizza?
No.
You said something about pizza to me today, and I was just bringing it up see if it jogged your mind.
Oh, okay. I know.
Are you getting it now? I don't know this inside. It's an inside joke.
I'm with you now.
You want to say that?
We're gonna have to say that.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Been fun.
Friday the 13th here on this full moon night, and you can check this show out on archive at twitter.com/BoAndGrego, facebook.com/BoAndGrego, or you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel and search Bo and Greggo Show.
Go Frogs. We got Purdue tomorrow.
Oh yes, TCU and Purdue. What time they play?
That time.
And Sunday, we got the Cowboys in Washington. That ought to be
Cowboys.
That ought to be a good showboat for Dak. Until Monday.
Oh my gosh! I've knocked over.
Your
good thing I've got my sippy cup.
We're having a great time on this SPAMM Saloon. We'll see you Monday.